From Max Holloway betting on Do Bronx to dominate, to Khabib Nurmagomedov speaking out in support of Islam, this is UFC pros reacting to Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev fight announcement. First things first, I gotta give a shout out to Max Holloway. This dude was talking about this rematch way before it was even official. Right after UFC 280, he was all hyped up about Oliveira and said he totally deserved this shot at Islam again. And he was spot on with his prediction. Dana White confirmed the fight is going down at UFC 294 on October 21st, and where's the action going down? Abu Dhabi. Now let's rewind a bit to the first face-off between these two warriors. Islam, the underdog at the time, shocked the world by submitting the reigning champ, Oliveira, right in the second round. But this rematch is a tough one, because both of these beasts haven't lost a single bout since then. Islam, now the lightweight champ, proved himself by defending the title against Alex Volkanovski. And Oliveira made a huge comeback at UFC 289 when he knocked out Beneil Dariush in the first round. Some folks thought Oliveira wouldn't be ready for the October showdown, but this guy's a true champ, defending his title against pros like Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. And since Charles is getting ready to face Islam again, there's a lot riding on this one, believe me. Now, you might remember their last showdown. Charles wasn't an underdog back then, like I said, but things didn't go his way and he ended up with a loss. And let me tell you, that loss did some serious damage to his reputation. But hey, don't count him out just yet because he bounced back. Let's talk about UFC 289. It was epic. The co-main event between Oliveira and Beneil Dariush had everyone on the edge of their seats, and Dariush started strong. But Oliveira came back with a killer head kick that rocked Dariush. The punches just kept coming, even after Dariush hit the mat. That win earned Oliveira his ticket to face Islam again. But hold on, some fans are wondering if this rematch is what they really want. You know, we've seen these two go at it before, and it was a good fight, no doubt. But is there a real demand from the fans to see them lock horns immediately? That's the question. Look, we all have a limited time to see our favorite fighters in action, right? And honestly, we haven't witnessed Islam take on Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje, which is what fans really want to see. Poirier and Gaethje might have fallen short in their quest for the title twice, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't get another shot, right? I mean, they both lost to the legendary Khabib as interim champions, and then lost against Oliveira. But fans love these guys, and they think these fighters have got the skills to put on a show. Charles has something that Poirier and Gaethje don't have, a loss to Islam. You see, if Gaethje and Poirier were still in their 20s, we wouldn't even need to make this case. They'd have all the time in the world to face each other, but they're both in their mid-30s right now, and they've been through some tough battles. So, some folks are worried they might be past their prime, and that's why these matchups need to happen ASAP. Fans aren't saying they don't want to see Charles up against Islam, they do? Let them go at it, but promise the winner of Poirier versus Gaethje a shot at the winner of that fight. It's a win-win situation. He cleaned out the whole division and took down all the top dogs. Justin, Dustin, Chandler, and Beneil. That's everyone behind Do Bronx. So, now the big question was, who's left to challenge the champ? This fight has history. Last year, when Oliveira faced Islam, he admitted he wasn't on his A-game that night. But in his comeback, when he showed his true power while he destroyed Beneil, Oliveira controlled the fight like a boss. And for the first time, he didn't even get dropped. That's some serious improvement. So now, they're gonna run it back, Charles versus Islam too. But what's got us all excited is whether Oliveira has evolved enough to take on the champ again. Can he forget what went down last time and come in with a winning mindset? DC's not so sure about this one. Sometimes you need a little break and some victories under your belt to convince yourself you got what it takes to beat a tough opponent like Islam. Has Charles made those upgrades in a year? Or is he still holding on to the belief that he wasn't himself in the previous bout? From what we've seen and heard, it seems like Oliveira feels he wasn't at his best. And let's not forget, Islam knows Oliveira now, so it's gonna be one hell of a showdown. Islam ain't holding back either. He talked to DC, saying he's gonna make Oliveira give up again. He's throwing some shade, claiming Charles can't handle his power, and that he's gonna knock him out or force him to tap out. And hey, we can't deny it. Islam's got an impressive record, hardly ever losing in combat sambo and becoming a world champ. The dude's got confidence for days. But either way, Daniel's stoked for this fight too. He's got a point. Oliveira might not be thrilled about going back to Abu Dhabi, where he lost last time. And for Islam, it's all about redemption in Abu Dhabi. Same place, same setting, same everything. It's gonna be intense. Oliveira's on a winning streak, but Islam is the #1 contender. The tension is building, and the last fight was no joke either. Charles held his ground in the first round, but Islam's ground game is like a python. Once he's on top, it's hard to escape, and boom, submission finish. Henry Cejudo gave his 2 cents on the matchup too, and he's all pumped up saying it's gonna be a banger. Henry's wondering if Charles can level up and make those transitions he needs to win. Last time, he admitted he wasn't mentally ready, but now it's time to see if he's got the technical skills to bring it. But hold up. Henry says that if Charles sticks to the same old game plan, he's gonna be in a tough spot. Islam's got killer takedowns and excellent time control, and Charles needs to mix things up, be quicker on his feet, and throw in some kicks to keep Islam on his toes. If he does that, this fight could turn into a whole new ballgame. Speaking of Islam, after that bout with Volk, Henry's wondering if he's still got that killer confidence. You know, that fire and determination to prove himself in the octagon. He noticed that Islam's not trash-talking much before the match, and he's curious if that's a sign of doubt. Confidence is key, and there's no drama between these two fighters. Henry's saying that if he had to pick between Islam versus Charles 2 and Islam versus Volkanovski 2, he'd go for the latter, all because of the hype factor. But fans are still pumped up, because when you put it into perspective, Islam is the Eagles' protege. So when this fight announcement dropped, you betcha Islam received a truckload of encouraging messages from his fellow Dagestanis. The undefeated legend himself, Khabib, took to his Instagram stories to send a shout out to his childhood buddy, writing, "Only 93 days before the fight. Already a foot off the gas. Relieve. Only go ahead, brother." And tagged Islam in the story. Khabib's backing up Islam, and you can feel the excitement building up. And it's not just the fighters rallying behind Islam. Even famous influencer Hasbullah's stoked too. When Islam posted the fight announcement on his Insta, Hasbullah commented, "Abu Dhabi will be noisy." Islam's got a lot riding on this fight because he's the one who's meant to carry on Khabib's legacy. So losing this game is just not an option for him. The pressure's on. He's got to prove himself and show the world that he's got the skills to retain his title. So from Khabib speaking out in support of Islam to Max Holloway betting on Do Bronx to dominate, that was UFC pros reacting to Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev's fight announcement.